Hey everyone, this is Zach with 8020 Media, here today with a video on the Toyota Supra 2.0 versus 3.0. Which one is better? Toyota released the new 5th generation Supra in 2019 after a nearly 2-decade hiatus from not making the Supra. However, with this new 5th generation of the Toyota Supra, also known as the GR Supra or A90, Toyota made a drastic change in actually developing this vehicle in partnership with BMW. So the new Supras do use many BMW parts and actually shares the same exact platform developed between BMW and Toyota, which is used on the Supra as well as BMW's Z4 model. The newest 5th generation A90 Supras are available with two BMW power plants, the 2.0 liter BMW B48 inline-4 turbocharged engine, as well as the BMW B58 inline-6 turbocharged engine. And these differences in engines are really the predominant difference between the Supra 2.0 versus the Supra 3.0. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this comparison, starting off with performance. Naturally, the larger B58 inline-6 engine is going to have a significant advantage when it comes to power, performance, as well as aftermarket potential, all things that I'll touch on in this section as we talk about the 2.0 versus 3.0 Supra. So starting off, the BMW B58 makes up to 382 horsepower and 369 torque. The smaller B48 inline-4 engine delivers 255 horsepower and 295 torque. Ultimately, that leads to about a 1-second difference in 0 to 60 times. Looking at the 3.0 Supra with the automatic transmission, you're looking at about a 0 to 60 time of roughly 3.7 seconds, not including the 1-foot rollout. Looking at the B48 2.0 Supra, that is going to deliver a 0 to 60 time of roughly 4.7 seconds, and that also translates to the quarter mile, where the 3.0 Supra is capable of times around the mid-12s at about 115 miles an hour, and that compares to the 2.0 Supra, which delivers quarter mile times of low to mid-13s at about 104 miles an hour. So right there again, roughly a 1-second advantage and about an extra 10 miles per hour through the quarter mile for the 3.0 Supra. Naturally, that is to be expected. As the saying goes, there is no replacement for displacement, and if we look at the specifics of the B48 and B58, they are very similar engines and really share a lot of their core design in common, apart from the fact that the B48 is the 2-liter inline-4 and the B58 is a 3-liter inline-6. Really, in many ways, a B48 is just a B58 with 2 fewer cylinders. Moving on to aftermarket performance potential, this is where both the B48 and B58 engines really shine. Both of them are capable of significantly more power than stock with a couple basic bolt-on modifications. With the B48 on the stock turbocharger, you can get that engine up to about 325 wheel horsepower. The B58, on the other hand, is capable of making upwards of about 500 wheel horsepower on the stock turbocharger. So looking at aftermarket potential, to get the B48 to that kind of power, not only is that really pushing above and beyond the safe limits, but you would require the whole long laundry list of upgrades to really get the B48 to 500 wheel horsepower, and the B58 can achieve that number again on the stock turbocharger with nothing other than simple bolt-on modifications like a tune, intake, downpipe, and a small E85 fuel blend. So while the B48 2.0 Supra is still a very capable engine, it is never going to be quite as capable as the larger B58. That brings up another point regarding the B58. Because it is the larger, more performance-oriented engine, there is a lot more aftermarket support and development for the B58 as opposed to the B48. So that's another major benefit for the 3.0 Supra. If you're looking to pick one of these up and modify them for additional power, the 3.0 Supra is really going to be the better pick, since not only does it have the larger engine, the more capable engine directly from the factory, but it also has a lot more tuning and aftermarket development and support following it. Moving on to our next topic in the Supra 2.0 versus 3.0 comparison, comparison, we have handling, feel, and feedback. Now again, really the biggest difference between the Supra 2.0 and 3.0 is going to be those engine options, and so when it comes to actual handling, feel, feedback, etc., these two vehicles are going to feel very similar. Naturally, the 3.0 Supra is still going to be the quicker car around the track because of its significant power and torque advantages over the B48. However, if the B48 and 2.0 Supra do have one small advantage somewhere, it's in the fact that the B48, being the smaller engine, weighs less, which means not only does the 2.0 Supra weigh less than the 3.0, but less of that weight is carried over the front axle, which does make the 2.0 Supra feel a little bit more nimble around the corners. Now, I don't think this is a significant difference, and unless you're really pushing it, you might not really even notice all that much, but ultimately, the overall handling, feel, and feedback of these two vehicles is probably close enough that it's not going to be a major deciding factor for most people looking to pick up a 5th generation Supra. Moving on to our final topic, we have price and fuel economy. This is where things really start to swing in favor of the 2.0 Supra. So the 2.0 Supra has a starting price point of roughly $8,000 to $10,000 less than the 3.0 Supra, assuming both options are similarly equipped with any additional options you may throw on the vehicles. That does start to shrink a little bit if you're looking at certain used models, especially depending on condition, mileage, etc. And additionally, that smaller 2-liter B48 inline 4 engine is going to offer the better fuel economy. At best, the 3.0 Supra by about 2.5 to 3 miles per gallon. I believe around the city, the B48 is 3 miles per gallon better, and on the highway, it's 2 miles per gallon better. So that's not a huge difference on the surface, but another thing to point out here is if you really do start using the extra power and extra potential of the 3.0 Supra, that gap in fuel economy between the two cars can really start swinging even more so in favor of the B48. So just something to keep in mind if you are looking for savings at the pump and ultimately savings up front. The 2.0 Supra is going to be the cheaper vehicle that offers better fuel economy. So in summary of the Supra 2.0 versus 3.0, which one is better? A lot of the times I hate coming out and saying one vehicle is specifically better than the other because it really depends what you're looking for in a car, and I would say that very much applies here. However, most people in the market looking for a Toyota Supra are looking for a fun sports car, and I think in this case the larger B58 inline 6 3-liter engine is really the better fit for the Toyota Supra, and likely the better option for most people looking to pick up a 5th generation Toyota Supra. The B58 engine is faster, it has the larger displacement, offers more potential from the factory, has significantly more aftermarket potential, and is really the much more supported and developed platform when it comes to modifications and pushing these engines to the limits. In addition to that, the inline 6 design of the B58 follows the heritage of the legendary 2JZ GTE in the MK4 Supra, and so I do think from a legacy perspective and an overall performance perspective, the B58 is certainly the better engine option in these 5th generation Supras. However, all that being said, the 2.0 Supra is still an excellent car. It's still very sporty, very fun, very quick. Nothing wrong with it. If you're not looking for the sheer power and performance potential of the Toyota Supra 3.0, then the 2.0 Supra could certainly be the better value between the two. Saving that money up front, plus saving money at the pump, can certainly add up over time and make it the better value if you're just looking for a fun, sporty car and care a little bit less about that sheer power and performance potential of the larger B58 inline 6 engine. Then the Supra 2.0 can be an excellent pick. So which one is better really depends on what you value and what you're looking to get out of a Toyota Supra. Anyway, guys, that wraps up our video for today. If you appreciated the content, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more in the future. Thanks, everyone.